Hello friends, welcome to my channel and myself SK Sharma, and in this video we'll be discussing about IBO 04. यहाँ से होती है आपकी एग्जाम्स की शुरुआत MCOM की and this is the first paper and this particular chapter is not an easy chapter because बहुत सारे ऐसे टॉपिक्स हैं, पॉइंट्स हैं एक्सपोर्ट इंपोर्ट के ऊपर जो आपको लर्न करने हैं. So basically, you have to memorize a lot of things in this particular chapter. So kindly, we will cover all the important questions only, and these are all a part of my study materials, and I have just written the points here, and the detailed explanation is all there in my study material, which you can buy through email or my WhatsApp number. Okay friends, we will start with unit 1, and just make sure that you have subscribed to my channel, and if you like the video, kindly give a like and do give your valuable comments. Okay, fine. So from unit 1 is on export import trade regulatory framework, and from this unit you should revise like what are the objectives and features of import export policy of India. So basically India, obviously, it's a very active member, a country in the international trade, and it always wants that to promote exports and earn foreign exchange, then to regulate and conduct exports according to the economic policies of India for our people's welfare, and making the Indian product more competitive in the international market, and using latest technology of production, then to improve the quality of goods according to the international standards, then lot of market support like market research surveys, or all these things are done by the government for the exporters and importers. And yes, this one, financial facilities, lot of loans and different types of facilities are given to the exporters so that they can promote more and more exports. Then shipping facilities is also provided by the government. A lot of tariffs, duties and taxes have been reduced so that exporters can do more of exports. A lot of restrictions on the international trade that has been removed, and there are some export promotion measures like these free export zones FEZ, then special economic zones, that is SEZ, and other industrial and technological parks which have been set up in India, in many parts of India. And it also provides subsidies from time to time, and it always ensure that there is liberalization of the exchange rate. So friends, like this question you should revise. The next one is registration formalities for exports. How, if you are an exporter, how you will register yourself as an exporter in the government agency. So to be an exporter, first of all, you need to take this EIC number, that is import export code number, and the second thing is export license. So these two documents are mandatory, and to get this you need to apply. All these are the processes where you can make an application with the concerned authorities to get this EIC and export license. And this is the procedure to obtain the export license, which is the second condition to be an exporter. Then the next question is role of exports in the economic development of a country. So this is more probably easy question. We can write a lot of things like it provides employment opportunities, increases the standard of living, then it helps in the economic growth and development of a country, reduces the deficits, and foreign currency reserves can be improved, promote domestic industries and increases national income and GDP. So all these points need to be explained. Okay, just don't write the points, you need to explain. The more you write, the more you get. And one more question from this unit, that is deemed exports. So basically deemed exports refers to the good and not services which are manufactured and transported in India locally. The goods produced do not leave India, then suppliers may receive the payments in Indian rupees or foreign currency. So this is like one short note you can get on deemed exports. And these are some conditions eligibility for deemed exports. Okay, let's move on to unit 2, export sales contract. And here you should learn this incoterms. Now, what are incoterms? These are international commercial terms published by ICC, that is International Chamber of Commerce, which aims to make the foreign trade more smoother, more easier, and to promote them. And it was first developed in 1936 with a lot of like 45 million companies were once upon a time the member of this. And it laid down 11 incoterms which were in use up to 2020. And these are all incoterms like EXW, that is X works, then free carrier, then carriage paid to, that is CPT, then carriage and insurance paid. So all these are terms which are known as incoterms, and these are all the terms. So you need to expand all these points. Okay. The next question is CIF contract. Now CIF stands for cost insurance and freight contract. And basically it is a contract for the sale of goods carried by the ship, in which the buyer's payment includes not only the cost price but also the freight cost and insurance. uh, and you should also revise the main features or characteristics of CIF contracts. And these are all the contracts. Some more terms are there in these contracts, like what are the seller's responsibilities and what are the buyer's responsibilities. So like in sailors, the most important one to look for all these, the seller is responsible for any charges that is associated with shipping and loading of the product. This is the main responsibility of the seller. And he should also pay all those custom duties and all that to export the goods on the ship. And these are all buyer's responsibility, where all the cost will be borne by him while unloading the product from the ship and transferring them to his delivery site. And all the custom duties and charges of, so all these expenses needs to be paid by the importer. Then one more contract, that is free on board contract, FOB contract. So this question is also very common, quite a lot of times come in exams. And basically free on board, now these are all contracts often described at the time of place of delivery of payment, when the risk of loss is shift to the seller to the buyer. And these are the various clauses of FOB contract. Like all these needs you need to expand. In fact, I have written here 7. The first one is terms of payment and terms of contract and its termination. Then quality and quantity of goods supplied or shipped. Then the different price details and discounts given. Then shipment schedule. Then indemnification, that if due to any reason, if there are any losses, so that is to be indemnified by the buyer or seller. Then if there are any disputes, so that needs to be resolved. So all the details regarding the resolution should be given here. Then all the government laws which are governed by during this foreign contract, so all these are mentioned in FOB contract. So this is the difference. Now this also can strike in the exams, very important one. Okay. The next one is unit 3, the importance of documentation in export and import. Why these documents are required? Basically here due to 3 reasons. The first one is the commercial perspective, because the buyer and seller, they need to understand like their responsibilities. And what is the price, terms of delivery, terms of payment. So all these things come under this commercial perspective. Then according to the legal perspective, like if there are any disputes, so what are the legal procedures of settling them. And here, as we know that two countries are involved, so different laws are there, so they need to be followed properly. And then incentives perspective, government sometimes gives incentives on the imports and exports, so these need to be taken when we go through a proper channel and follow all the rules. Now this question, list of documents required for export custom clearance. So if you are an exporter, you need to prepare all these 12 documents for the export of goods. The first one is all these points need to be expanded. Okay, you should write minimum 3 to 4 sentences for all these points, like invoice, bill. So this is prepared by exporter. Then customs packing list, then country of origin where the goods are manufactured, then commercial invoice, final invoice, then shipping bill that is to be raised by the shipping company, then bill of lading or airway bill. This is one of the very important document in international trade. Then bill of site, letter of credit, again a very important document here. Bills of exchange, this export license, one copy of this, then a warehouse receipt and health certificate that the goods are not hazardous to the health. So all these needs to be explained as I have done here. So you should write 3 to 4 sentences for each point. Okay, now let's see the documents required when you are importing goods from foreign countries. So basically we need all these 6 documents. Import export code, that is IEC number, then bill of entry, commercial invoice and packing list. Bill of lading is common both for imports and exports, and you need to have an import license and the insurance certificate. So you should explain all these points. If you get a long questions, might be you generally get long questions here. One more question that you should revise, that is distinction between insurance policy and insurance certificate. This question is also very common here. Okay, let's move on to unit 4, electronic data interchange system. And from this unit you should know like what is this EDI, that is electronic data interchange. Basically it is defined as the direct transfer of business information between the computers of two organizations, because one is an importer exporter and both the countries are different. So you need to have a proper channel of communication where both the companies can share their information, and these are all benefits of EDI. So this needs to be revised properly for the exams. And the next question you should revise for the short notes, that is EDIFACT. The full abbreviation is electronic data interchange for administration, commerce and transport. So as the name implies, making all these administration, commercial perspective and transportation system more easier between the countries and between the parties. So this is what the main object is here, and it is basically framed by UN, United Nations organizations, and this needs to be followed by different countries while doing international trade. Okay, one more concept here, value added network. In short, it is known as WAN, and this is also a type of exchange of information between the two parties or two countries. And like EDI and value added networks, so both are very they are linked always together, and this makes the international trade more more easier and more lucrative. Then the different types of value added networks are there, like one to one, where one party contacts with the other. One party can contact with many, and many to many. So its scope is quite large, and some benefits are there for this WAN, like errors can be corrected, like errors in the information. These points need to be expanded, and improved exchange of information. The information should be secured and private, and they should be standardized, like a proper channel should be followed, like what we do in email. So this is important. And the other one is a difference between EDI and e-commerce. So you should also revise this question for the exams. Fine. Friends, the next unit is 5, and the unit is all about processing of an export order. How we will export, how we will start processing the order. So we can take the help of this clearing and forwarding agent, that is C&F agent. And this question, many times it strikes in the exams, and you should revise this properly. And basically these C&F agents, they help in import and export of any goods. So these are agencies, they charge commission for this, and they do all the custom formalities, like storing the goods, to loading the goods in the ship, and doing all custom formalities. So this agency acts as a very very important role in import export trade as far as India is concerned, because in India we have a lot of formalities. So all these are functions of C&F agents. This needs to be revised properly. And in unit 6 we have terms of payment, how importers and exporters they make payment. So these are the 6 ways by which they can, I mean 5 ways where they can make payment. One is like the importer can pay in advance through letter of credit. This is important method, and popularly known, used in international trade. Then documentary collection can be done. There is an option of open account. uh, than consignment and trade finance. That means buying and selling goods on credit. So these are all important methods by which importers and exporters can make payment. And then we have, you should revise this one. You can get it in short note, letter of credit, and this document is issued by importers bank, assuring the exporter that if the importer doesn't make the payment, so the bank will pay on his behalf. And these are all the features of LOC, like negotiability, then recapability and transfer and assignments. So these are all important features, and these are the 4 parties which are involved in LOC. These need to be expanded. From Unit 7, you should revise this properly. FEMA Act 1999, and the full form is Foreign Exchange Management Act. And the basic purpose is to reduce the restrictions on foreign exchange movement and increase the flow of foreign exchange without much restrictions and impositions. And this act was basically replaced by this FERA Act, Foreign Exchange Regulation Act, in 1999. But this FERA Act was implemented in 1973, and now this act has been known as FEMA, which is more popular. And these are the important guidelines and regulations under FEMA. So all these points need to be expanded properly. And this act has two type of account, like guidelines for two accounts, capital and current account. So both these accounts need to be, all the contents of the accounts need to be memorized. And this question, why FEMA replaced FERA? So this also needs your attention. Okay. In Unit 8, we have export finance, like how an exporter can raise finance. There are two methods, pre-shipment and post-shipment. That means before shipment of goods and after shipment of goods. Now, before shipment of goods, these 3 ways are there where an exporter can raise finance. That is through packing credit, then advance against incentives, and pre-shipment credit in foreign currency. So these 3 methods are there. And for post-shipment finance, again 5 methods are available to the exporter. One is discounted export bills. Second one, advanced against export bills, advanced against export bills sent for collection, advanced against export on the consignment basis, and advanced against claim on duty drawback. So these 5 ways by which the exporter can get post shipment. That means after the export of goods. One more question you can do from here: Exim Bank, Export Import Bank of India, and this is one of the most important bank for international trade, which was established in 1981. And you should also learn all this objectives of Exim Bank, and like the different roles and functions performed by Exim Bank of India. So this question is also very common. Quite a lot of time it comes in exams. Then you can also revise this topic, export under deferred payment. So when we supply goods or export goods on credit, so what are the different conditions and guidelines for that? So this question also comes in the short note. and there is some eligibility criteria for this. Okay, unit 9 is on export credit insurance, and here this one, ECGC, that is Export Credit Guarantee Corporation. Now this was set up in 1957, and again it was revised in 1983, 84, 64. There was one revision, and the basic function under this here is to to avoid the different types of risk. Okay, and when an exporter, he exports the goods, so he needs some sort of insurance facilities and guarantees. So for that, this ECGC works quite properly. And these are the different types of policies an exporter can do under this ECGC scheme. Like there are some standard policies, then specific policies, some financial policies are there, and special schemes are there. So these are the different four types of policies offered by ECGC. And under standard policies, again, like it covers different types of risk, like comprehensive risk, political risk, and again, like we have all the different types of commercial risk here. So these points needs to be learned properly. And in specific policies, we have all these different policies which are governed in ECGC contract, and then financial policies. Again, this type of policies and schemes are given to the exporter to avoid the risk. In special schemes, again, like some special incentives and guarantees given by the government. And in unit 11, like here, the we are preparing for the shipment of goods, and this question, liner shipping and tramp shipping, this is very common, it comes in lot of times. So revise this properly for the exams. And different types of tramp chartering are there, which are also known as forms of chartering, like three types here: voyage charter, time charter, and bareboat charter. Now among these three, this voice charter is more important, so you should revise this. And in voice charter, again, like different clauses of charter party. And let's see, like in time chartering, not much about this. And bareboat chartering. Okay, the next topic that you should revise is quality control and inspection. And here the consignment is inspected by the custom officers and all that. And again, three methods are there. One is consignment wise inspection, the other is in process quality control, and self certification. Now among these three, this self certification is more important, because an exporter, before exporting the goods, he needs to have one self certification that the goods are according to the international standards. So all these self certification notes are here. And like the some eligible exporters, like this 1 star, 2 star, up to 5 star warehouses, so they can directly export goods without having any such formalities and declaration. Okay, one more question that you should revise here, that is ISO 9000 quality standards. Now this is again like the international organization is there which publishes all these standards. So there are nearly about 13,000 standards published by ISO so far, and among them, all these are the most important ones, like ISO 9000, which was published in 2015, then again ISO 9001, then 4, and then 19011, which was recently published in 2018. And you should also revise these benefits or importance of ISO 9000. And these are all the benefits and importance I've written here. Okay. The next question is what is containerization and its advantages and disadvantages. Now using different specialized containers in which the goods are exported, so that is called, the whole process is called containerization, and its advantages and its disadvantages. So this needs to be revised properly. Okay, unit 12 is cargo insurance. Again here, the exporter and importer, they need to take these insurance policies, and like why it is important, then different types of cargo insurance policies which are there in international trade. So all these three different policies are here. One is the open policy, then a free of particular average policy, and specific voyage. So all these three are very important one for the exams, and different risks are covered in different type of policies. Unit 13 is shipment of goods of export cargo. So here like the different stages of shipment of exports, and what are the procedures and documents required here. So all these are the points and stages and steps an exporter has to undergo before exporting the goods. And these are the different procedures in custom clearance of the export cargo by sea. And most of the international trade are done by through on the sea. So all these points he needs to go through, and these are all the documents which we have discussed earlier also. And when the cargo is exported by air, not much difference, but still then you need an exporter need to undergo all these steps. So this question also needs to be learned properly. Then what are the methods of settling disputes in international trade? Again, a very important question. There are two methods: litigation and arbitration. In litigation, all legal proceedings, court and all that. And in arbitration, there is an arbitrator or mediator which tries to settle the disputes between the two parties. And litigation, its main drawbacks, these points need to be expanded properly. And in arbitration, again, these are having the drawbacks here. So all these points need to be explained properly if you get a question. Okay, unit 14 is custom clearance of import cargo. Now you should revise this: objectives of custom clearance and the stages of custom clearance of import cargo. Like in export, an exporter has to take few steps to export the cargo. In the same way, the importer has to also take the delivery of goods and cargo. So for that, he needs to have all these steps. Okay, then unit 15 is the institutional setup for export promotion in India. You might get a lot of questions from this unit, and these are the different institutions here. You will get one short note or long question from this, like this: export promotion councils, a government organization which looks after the exports. Then commodity boards are there, Exim Bank, just now we told about this. ECGC, just now told. Then Indian Council for Arbitration for Dispute Settlement. Then we have Federation of Indian Export Organization. So like that, there are a lot of institutions which are established by the government to promote exports. Okay, so these points need to be expanded properly. Just now, okay. The next unit is export assistance in India. So how the government helps the exporters. So these are the different steps taken by the government of India to promote exports. As many as 10 steps I have mentioned here, like these export processing zones, EPZ, export oriented units, then export promotion industrial parks, then special economic zones, export houses, duty exemption, duty drawbacks. So a lot of things are there, and you might get short notes on this special economic zones or export oriented units and even on duty drawback and electronic data interchange. So these are very important questions, so you should revise this. Okay, so these are all the explanation of the points. It's not possible to explain all these points because the length of the video will be quite large, and some fiscal and financial assistance provided to the exporters, so that also you can revise. This question is also very important one. A lot of times it comes and very common. Unit 17 is on procedures for claiming export incentives. So an exporter can claim all these incentives. So this is one of the most important incentive: duty drawback. and like how, like what are the procedure by which an exporter can claim this duty drawback. So that is important. And one more, that is duty remission scheme. This is again a scheme for the exporters, and what are the procedures that an exporter can get all these benefits. So friends, these are a few important questions which you should revise for these exams, and I hope like you will get a lot of questions from these suggestions. So very best of luck for the exams. Thank you very much for watching this video.